welcome to a new video, and this is a bit of a different one because what I wanted to talk about is basically the ethics of modding, and the reason why I wanted to bring this subject up is something that happened over the last couple of days, well actually just yesterday I believe. Now a well-known, infamous and much rumoured modding studio that charges for a lot of their content, and people have in the past accused them of ripping off other modders, mildly changing things and then basically selling their content on, with rumours of them then throwing copyright strikes against people who'd actually originated content. Well, this studio, and I'm sure from the screenshots you'll be able to guess who it is, advertised yesterday that their new GT3 weapon of choice had been released, the Assetto Corsa Bavaria M4 GT3, and this popped up as a chargeable mod on their website. The only problem was somebody called Polaris posted on Twitter that this appeared to be basically a model stolen from iRacing. So they posted about this. It didn't gain much traction until Jimmy Broadbent, quite rightly in my opinion, picked this up and posted over, tagging in someone he knows by the name of Greg West, who then basically replied, as you can see here, with the "We are actively investigating the situation and will be pursuing it with all available resources. IP protection is incredibly important to us, and any credible accusations of third parties stealing our work will be taken very seriously." And as you can see, that was 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The end result was that very, very quickly there was a 404 when you tried looking for this particular mod on the developer in question's website, and it looks like iRacing acted very quickly and got that taken down, but it then opens up the entire debate around the ethics of modding, which is why I wanted to put this video up. You see, it's always been an issue. Who originated content? Where did it come from? Is it ethical to rip content out of other titles and reuse it, etc, etc? So I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts on this. Now, first of all, when it comes to free mods, I basically believe that we've got a bit of a politeness thing going on here. Most devs don't seem to have an issue with people ripping content out of titles if that content's been available for a while, and people then converting it into other titles such as, say, R-Factor, R-Factor 2, Automobilista, or even Assetto Corsa, so long as nobody's making money out of it. They seem to turn a fairly blind eye, or have up till now turned a fairly blind eye to the hobby side of the modding scene. And I personally think that's for the greater good of the modding scene itself. I don't personally have any major issues with that, although it is arguably a very grey area. It stops being a grey area if you start charging for it, as this modding business, in inverted commas, has just found out. And you know, that really applies to tracks and cars. It's going to happen. It's arguably very hard to police, but you know, with incidents of this nature, it does run the risk of websites getting threatened if they host said content. And I know, for example, that Race Department is exceedingly careful about exactly what it hosts and makes available to download, and even what it allows posters to, or members to link to in terms of content. And that, to a degree, I fully understand, because, as I say, it is a very grey area. You've then got the completely above board companies around there and individual modders around there who, you know, do charge for mods, but these mods are scratch built, so they're building them from 3D models they've either purchased, so obtained legitimately, or they've scratch built the 3D models themselves and then do all of the work and sell them on. Those I don't personally have an issue with myself at all. There's a lot of work that goes in there. Again, if they haven't bought the 3D model, it is a slightly grey area, but being perfectly honest, with a bit of a change of badging and naming, you can get around that, and it's a grey area. Let's be honest, devs themselves make great use of. You know, you only have to look at the likes of the GTA series or Burnout, for example, and you've got cars in there that are quite clearly recognisable as real-world cars, but they don't have the badges on and they aren't called that, so they get away with it. So, you know, if major AAA developers can get away with this kind of thing, I don't really see any reason why that should be an issue for the modding scene. Where it becomes iffy in my book, where it does become difficult, is where you've got companies who are either stealing content directly from games and then making a profit on it, as is the case I talked about at the beginning of this video, or where you've got issues around modders putting together work as a hobby level, and that's then directly lifted and pretty much sold wholesale by other people, and that's where it starts becoming a bit iffy. And you know, if somebody has created content and you're going to do some work on it, I'm all for that. I'm all for people improving content, but you know, there's some basic politeness rules that really have to be followed here. Contact the person that originally created the mod. Ask for their permission. If you can't get their permission, or you can't get, then don't do it. If you can't get hold of them, you know, make sure you at the very least credit them, but do everything you can. And I think credit and attribution is very important on the mod scene. And again, the better quality mods out there tend to do this. The ones that, and the modders that are seen by the scene as being worthwhile modders, do actively acknowledge not just the people they may have used the base models from, as well as gaining permission from those individuals, but they will also cite them as being the originator of the mod, or, you know, they will give shout outs to people that have helped put this work together and helped put it together. And I think it's, to a degree, up to all of us within the Assetto Corsa or Automobilista or R-Factor or R-Factor 2 communities to kind of take some ownership around this as well, and make sure that, you know, we're not buying mods from people that have blatantly ripped work off, and it is on us to do the due diligence to actually make sure that we know what we're buying and where it's come from, because, you know, it is a little bit wild westy out there in this regard. And, you know, I've come across mods from companies like this where I've seen them, it's vehicles I want, but I know that the provenance around these vehicles is iffy, to say the least, so I don't touch it with a barge pole. And I won't, quite frankly. There are quite a few out there. One of the other things that tends to happen with a lot of these sites as well is the content that they've actually worked on, that they give away for free, doesn't tend to be very good anyway. So you know full well that if somebody's getting a mod from a place like this and they're saying it's decent, there's a fairly good chance that it hasn't been worked on by the team in question. I mean, the one that I'm referring to from the beginning of this video, you know, they've put some mods out there that, quite frankly, they're free, and I have downloaded and tried a couple of those, and they're just utterly appalling. They really, really are. They have no benefit to the community. They don't show the community in its best light by any stretch of the imagination, you know, and there are modders out there who do deserve our support, and quite frankly, these people aren't them. So really, that's my fairly polite, I hope, rant around the ethics of modding in any title, quite frankly, and not just racing titles. This applies right the way across the board, but, you know, I'm speaking about it specifically from racing. Let me know what your thoughts are down below around this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you ever bought any mods from this particular group or similar ones? Found them to be good, bad, or indifferent? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you found this video enjoyable, please do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much. Take care.